Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and welcome to our latest Airbus A330 route. Today we're going to fly from Southwest Florida International Airport, aka Fort Myers, over to Düsseldorf, which is a classic route that was operated for decades on the A330-200, first by LTU and later on by Air Berlin. Before we start though, this video is currently sponsored by SayIntentions.AI, who offer an excellent AI-powered air traffic control add-on, and they don't only do air traffic control, but they also have cabin crew in there and a couple of other very nice features. Now, SayIntentions is probably the most promising AI air traffic add-on. Of course, not perfect just yet, but that's why I partnered up with them in order to get it right up there. So thank you very much to SayIntentions for sponsoring this video. Of course, you guys will see SayIntentions in action during this video. So with that, let's get right into our plane. And we're going to board through two left over here. Let's make our way to the front. And I think we are just gonna sit down in business class real quick here, just to review our flight plan. It's just a little bit nice and quiet in here, which I do enjoy. So let's start by having a look into our OFP, and this is what it looks like. As the question comes up every now and then, I'm just using the standard Firefox flight plan viewer, or, well, flight plan viewer, PDF viewer over here, together with the SimBrief flight plan. So you go in SimBrief, you just go over here to view PDF, and that's exactly what I'm using over here. So that's our route of flight across Florida, across the east coast of the states, then across Halifax over here, and finally St. John's via the North Atlantic Track Tango all the way into Ireland, the UK, then finally the Netherlands and down to Düsseldorf. So the significant weather chart for this one is unfortunately rather turbulent. We got occasional CBs in all of Florida, and that alone means we'll take extra fuel. Now, then this entire area all the way pretty much up to the Canadian border up here is plagued with moderate turbulence up to level 400, so no way we can climb above that. Same thing over here again when flying across Canada and reaching Newfoundland, so that by the time we finally make it onto the North Atlantic, things are going to, well, hopefully calm down a little bit. So by the time our food service is done and passengers get to sleep, that's when things calm down, and then Europe will have a wonderful morning for a landing in Düsseldorf. The weather itself, you can see quite a couple of signets here for the Miami FIR and the Jacksonville FIR, so thunderstorms are really around Florida. And yeah, at this time of the day, if you see thunderstorms in Florida, you know that there will be trouble. That is one thing that's totally for sure. So Fort Myers itself has wind of 214, gust 23. The sky is still clear though, 33 degrees. And then looking into the forecast, it's just thunderstorms in the vicinity all day long. Good thing we are already on the way home and not on the way over to Fort Myers. So Düsseldorf, calm okay, easterly winds, beautiful conditions. Our alternate Cologne, same thing. Frankfurt is good as well. Münster is good as well. We don't really need to worry too much about our en route alternate. With Dublin here, that's good as well. And then our two ETOPS airports, we have St. John's over here, which of course from 2100 today features wind 260-30, gust 40, but that's almost down the runway in St. John's, so we don't need to be afraid of this. Shannon is good, and since there is just wind on the nose, St. John's is good as well. With that in mind, let's have a look into our flight plan. So if we depart on time, we're going to land just about on time using cost index 10. We're planning on flight level 370. We've got one step climb on the NUT entry to flight level 390. And that's pretty much all there is. So if we go down a little bit in the flight plan, we can see that using 1,000 kilo extra weight here is going to need some 500 kilos extra fuel. So I'm kinda considering over here that we will take some fuel in order to avoid possible thunderstorms over Florida, because it would just be foolish not to. But we're not going to take too much. I'll just take 2,000 kilos on top over here, and that should be fine. Also, do note that we will arrive here with 2.1 plus 2.4, so just 4.5 tons of fuel. Normally we don't want to land below like 5.5 tons. 6 tons is already quite little in the A330. So for this reason, we will absolutely have to take a bit extra as well. So I think 2,000 kilos more should be just about fine. We're going to burn 1,000 of those, then we'll land with 5.5 tons plus 16 minutes here to avoid the weather. I think that should be fine. So the legal minimum here is 54.3. If we make that 56.5, then we should absolutely be good to go. And I think that's really all that we are going to ask for today, because other than that, we are like totally fine. Alright, cool. So that much about our flight plan, and with that we have made a decision on the fuel. So let's make our way to the flight deck and start setting up our Airbus A330. It is cold and dark right now, so it's probably going to be pretty hot inside as well, so we will get that APU running straight away to help cooling the aircraft down, but for the time being, here we are. Alright, cool. So engine master levers are off, engine start selector norm weather radar is, let's see, off. Well, you can go on already. Okay, so landing gear lever is down, the wipers are both off. Let's see about the batteries here. 27.5, 27.8. Alright, that's all good. So batteries 1, 2, and 3 are coming on. And then we can also turn on the external power. And our aircraft will slowly come to life. So, while everything is powering up, let's have a look into our charts already, and let's get our flight plan up. So we got U, then down here we go for KRSW, Southwest Florida International, charts, airport, and we'll take both the parking and the ground chart. And then for our departures there really isn't too much, so Seychelles 7 it is. Alright, cool.
Runway awareness.
So
okay.
Let's bring up the ground chart,
Meters.
as that one will have a couple of frequencies on it for us. And here we go. So delivery 132075. So 320. Oh, that was too much. Here we go, 075. And then we'll take the ATIS 12465 and 1215 as well. So 1215 and 12465. Okay, cool. So we want to be sure to listen to VHF 1, listen to VHF 2, and we also want to listen to the interphone, as well as to the cabin and the PA today. Alright, cool. So let's ensure the speaker is up as well, and that's looking good. Alright. So then, that thing is set. Next step, APU fire test. Looking good, and then let's go ahead and start up the APU straight away. Alrighty, so IRS mode selectors 1, 2, and 3 going into nav. Cockpit lights, I will just turn up the floodlight down here a little bit already. The rest is up anyway, so that's looking quite good. Alright, cool. EFBs are started, databases and stuff are checked. Then we can just go down here, and normally in the Asus I do the initial setup. For us today a little bit more important, let's go up here into FM1. A330-200 CF6 engine, database up to date. We'll delete any of those previously stored elements, and then check the scratchpad messages and do the flight plan init request. Excellent. So recall, press and hold for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3 is looking good. Nothing in there. The logbook is checked. Aircraft configuration, it's a 200 GE engines. Automatic nav on go around is installed. No OEBs, and with that we can go for our preliminary performance, respectively into the EFB. So let's start over here. We've got Airline 7009 from Fort Myers to Düsseldorf, already initialized. Let's just re-download that one more time. Then onto the payload page, which we are going to get from SimBrief. And for the fuel, as briefed, 56.5 is going to be good. Alright, apply that load. You can make that instant, And then let's go for GSX, request boarding please. Alright, so now onto the takeoff page, and over here we can synchronize that. We will depart runway 24. So all of this is looking good. Let's see about the weight. So 209 I think is going to be just fine. So weight 209 tons. Config 2, air conditioning off, anti-ice off, we don't need to force toga. Let's see. Performance limited weight 244.3, perfect. Speeds are looking good. 50 degrees flex is also looking good. Wonderful. Then let's go back up to the front. Oxygen pressure is checked. Hydraulic quantities are checked. Let's check the engine oil quantity. So FADEC on. And that is okay for our flight. Alright. Looking good. So that's all the basics done down here. Flaps and speed brakes match the control positions. Let's just release the parking brake here. All the brakes checked as well. Brakes set again. Wonderful. So that's the preliminary cockpit preparation complete. So we continue with our cockpit preparation procedure. APU is there, so APU bleed coming on. Fuel is on board, then we can turn on the seatbelts as well. So battery check, off and on again, and then down on the elect DC page, and we can see them charging. Really guys, for a default aircraft, this is so good. This is really so good. You can follow almost the entire normal procedure, and this is default. I mean, that's really a step up in flight simulation business. So, recording the PAs for the voice recorder. The only thing that's not working here is the CVR test. That would be a nice thing to have. Right, so altimeter is 1015. That one is blocked at the moment, as you guys know already. So the date is the 11th of May 25, looking good. Alright, everything's set up here, everything's set down here. Weather radar is set as well. That's set and that's set. Alright, cool. Then we can pretty much go into the FMS setup, and I think the first thing for us to do here is to actually check the ADAS.
NE altimeter 29 Density altitude 2,000 feet.
So, ADAS by SayIntentions.AI.
Advise on initial contact. You have information Romeo. Southwest Florida International Airport. Information Romeo. 2053 Zulu. Wind 205 at 13. Visibility 10. Sky conditions. View at 4900 feet. Temperature 32. Dew point 21. Altimeter 29 Density altitude 2,000 feet. Arriving and departing runway 24. Advise on initial contact. You have information Romeo.
Okay, cool. So we have information Romeo on board. Altimeter 2998 is already dialed in. Well then, let's go ahead with our FMS setup. So, Southwest Florida to Düsseldorf, alternate Cologne, Abilene 7009, Costanex 10, flight level 370. What's the temperature up there? Minus 53. And the tropopause is in 52,000. So, wind has already uplinked, it seems. Good. So, departing via the Seychelles 7 towards Via. Here we go, insert, and then arriving in Düsseldorf, ILS approach 5 right. For the time being, we'll just enter the... Where is it? PSAP 05 transition. I think that will be fine. Okay, cool. So... RSW X2 is going to be our emergency waypoint. KRSW 24 / what's the runway track? 238 and 25 miles. Store that. So secondary copy RSW X2, including a hold with 1 minute lag time. Here we go. Immediate return is going to be to Fort Myers, of course, and they have runway 24 in use. Actually, no stored approaches, which is a little bit of a pity, but see guys, that's the reason why we are actually flying outbound instead of inbound today. Small bugs involved, so if we come back it'll be a visual approach. No nav aids, and over here we can already enter the runway as well. Then onto the init page. So zero fuel 152.3. We don't know the CG yet, so we'll just enter 25, block 56.5. Wind component average tail 29, which is not a lot today. Okay, so now let's go for the taxi data. 0.5 taxi fuel, then alternate 2.4, and final 2.1. Okay. 1.5 route reserves, and yeah, that extra down here is not very realistic. It doesn't know about the step climbs yet, but nonetheless. Looks like we can't enter step climbs yet. Not sure why that is. In the real one it would work. Okay, so for our performance, we have a Conv 2 takeoff at 50 degrees. And our speeds are going to be 160, 163, 165. Nose open 2, engine out acceleration 1530, and climb derail 1 since we're above 200 tons takeoff weight, even though barely just. Okay, cool. So that looks good. Then let's see if we have anything left to actually enter those step climbs. Here we go. So, step at OFP, Nixo, flight level 390. Alright, and that's the only step climb we're going to do today. So that gives us still something unrealistic here, but let's just see, 4,300 nautical miles versus, yeah, around about 4,300, so that should be fine. That prediction is going to fix itself in flight anyway, so I'm not at all worried about this. Alright, cool. So that's the FMS entry basically completed. We'll check the SID once we actually get the clearance. I think that's the easier thing to do here. Let's see about the initial climb. Seashell 7, initial climb 4,000. Here we go. Okay, cool. So that's our setup completed then. So let's see how all the services are going. Well, looks like they still need to board 100 guests. Okay, so before we do our briefing and then have to rebrief because we're getting an entirely different clearance, let's go ahead and actually call for our clearance. 132075 is correct, and we have Atus Romeo. Fort Myers delivery, Abilene 7009 Heavy, information Romeo, request IFR clearance to Düsseldorf.
I'll grab that clearance. Give me just a minute.
Sure. Okay, they're working on it. One thing that I hope that they're going to improve with SayIntentions is that they will eventually ask us if we're ready to copy. If they say, I'll get the clearance, stand by, and you'll notice in a few moments that they'll just start to dictate the clearance.
Air Berlin 7009, cleared to Düsseldorf via the Seashell 7 departure. Then as filed, climb and maintain 4000. Expect flight level 370 10 minutes after departure. Departure on 124.125 squawk 4422. Expect runway 24.
Air Berlin 7009 are cleared to Düsseldorf via the Seashell 7 departure, then as filed. Climb altitude 4000, expect level 370 10 minutes after. Departure frequency 124.125, squawk 4422.
Air Berlin 7009, read back correct.
Alright, wonderful. So runway 24, Seashell 7 is confirmed. 4000 feet is confirmed as well. Departure frequency 124.125.
Boarding has started and the first passengers are aboard the plane.
Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard Air Berlin flight
So 124.125
departing from Southwest
and squawk
to Düsseldorf.
4422.
We kindly ask you to take your seats according to your boarding passes.
Alright.
And stow your hand luggage in the overhead bins or under the seats in front of you. If you need any assistance, please don't hesitate to contact our crew. Thank you for choosing Air Berlin, and we wish you a pleasant.
So that's looking good. Then let's cross-check our SIDs. So down here, straight ahead to 530 and then Marpool, and then a right-hand turn in on a slope above 1800 max 220. And indeed we have exactly that. Then a right-hand to Vita, low speed, Yalu, Seashell. Then we continue via the Goat to Kulak. And then Smells, Genos, Itari, Feeman, and Bayern. Perfect, so that's our entire set checked and correct. Cool, so as soon as you are ready, then so am I. And that means time for some fairy tales. So we're departing Fort Myers runway 24, Seashell 7 departure, initial 4000, MSA 2300. Well, what do we have? Extra fuel and time. It says something nonsense down here. Once we're en route, that's going to be a lot clearer, and that's everything for now. Alright, cool, so we have no hotspots for our taxi out, and our stop margin is just a couple of meters, really. Engine failure, straight at 25 miles, climbing 3000, MSA 2300. Very good lookout for traffic, but we'll get to that a bit later on in the threads. If you need to make an immediate return, then runway 24 is available. It will be an overweight landing, so we'll do the overweight landing procedure. If there is absolutely no time available, as long as we didn't have a fire, we'll just start the APU, get the APU redrunning. And that's everything there is to it. Apart from that, I have no specials, nothing non-standard, and in terms of threats, yeah, VFR traffic is our threat of the day, so very good look outside. I do kind of hope that the thunderstorms are going to scare them away so that we don't find too many VFR flights around this time of the day anymore. Do you have any questions or suggestions? No? Alright, that's our briefing complete. Cockpit preparation checklist, please. Gear pins and covers removed. Fuel quantity 56,460 kilogram balanced. Seatbelts on, ADRs. Nav, barrel ref, QNH 29998. Cockpit preparation checklist complete. Then we can also do the ETOPS and the NUT HLA guidelines. So starting with the ETOPS guideline. OFP identification number coded as ETOPS flight. That's checked up here. 5 indicates it's OFP revision number 5. and the 1 at the end indicates that it is an ETOPS flight. And ETOPS outlet airport's weather and note times are checked, cockpit preparation part completed. Then let's do the not HLA guideline. And there's actually a little bit of stuff to do before that, so let's just go for it real quick. So we're flying via track Tango today. Let's find the track message. Here we go, Tango. So we started from Nixo, and then we proceed via 48 north, 50 west, towards 50 north, 40 west, towards 52 north, 30 west, 53 north, 20 west, and then we have Mallet and Gitsy, and that's all in here. Beautiful. Right, cool, so not HLA guideline please. Aircraft acceptance, ETOPS PDSC checked, RVS on equipment checked, clock and GPS mode checked, HF checked, message log is erased, ADSC armed, ATC auto position reports are off, IRS full alignment performed, ground speed 0, not HLA waypoints on OFP versus primary flight plan cross checked, wind data entered, and that's the guideline completed down to oceanic entry. Beautiful. So let's see about GSX. Boarding completed, I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon from Flight. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emmanuel. In the name of Alvin, I'd like to welcome you all aboard our Airbus A330-200 on our flight to Düsseldorf. Today's flight time will be about 9 hours. We expect a little bit of a bumpy ride for the first third of the flight, and thereafter you will be able to sleep nice and cozy across the Atlantic for a smooth continued ride. Thank you very much for being our guests today. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us. If there is anything we can do for you to make it more comfortable, please don't hesitate to ask any of our charming cabin crew. Liebe Fluggäste, einen wunderschönen guten Abend aus dem Cockpit. Hier spricht Ihr Kapitän. Mein Name ist Emanuel Lembmann, der Airline. Danke Sie herzlich an Bord von Flug 7008 nach Düsseldorf willkommen heißen. Die Flugzeit heute ca. 9 Stunden und 10 Minuten erwarten die ein oder andere Turbulenz auf dem ersten Drittel unseres Fluges, bis wir den nordamerikanischen Kontinent hinter uns gelassen haben. Danach wird es dann eine ruhige Nacht über dem Nordatlantik. Wir bedanken uns herzlich, dass Sie unsere Gäste sind, wünschen Ihnen einen schönen Aufenthalt bei uns an Bord. Wenn Sie das schöner gestalten können, zögern Sie bitte nicht, sich an unsere Flugbegleiter zu wenden. Vielen Dank für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit und noch einmal herzlich willkommen an Bord. Okay, cool, so everything's ready down there. Then we can disconnect the external power, get all the equipment removed, and prepare position for pushback and departure. In the meantime, let's have a look at the load sheet. So we have a zero fuel weight of 152.3 with a CG of 25.4. So 152.3 is correct, and /25.4. So that's a gross weight CG of 25.5, and that is correct, which results in a trim of 4.8 units up. Takeoff weight remains unchanged, so the calculation is valid. /up 4.8, and here we go. So that's looking good. Alright then, I think we're pretty much ready to go. So let's go ahead and call for pushback, please. Airline 7008, request pushback and start up.
Air Berlin 7009, contact ground on 121.9er for pushback and startup instructions.
121.9er, Air Berlin 7009. Fort Myers ground, Air Berlin 7009, request pushback and startup.
Air Berlin 7009, pushback and startup approved, tail southwest.
Pushback and startup approved, tail southwest, Air Berlin 7009. Okay. So, all the ground equipment should be removed by now. Then let's do the before start checklist, please. Park and brake, set, takeoff speeds and thrust. V1160, VR163, V2165, flex 50, windows closed, and the beacon is on before start checklist complete. Ground for flight deck. Go. So, pushback approved, tail southwest, parking brake is still set. Okay, so nose right and release brakes. Brakes released, clear to push, and we are waiting for your signal to start the engines. Roger. Okay, and with that, off we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard Air Berlin Flight 7009, departing from Southwest Florida and Düsseldorf. My name is Taylor, and on behalf of Air Berlin, I would like to introduce our captain and our first officer. I am joined by my fellow crew members, Sarah, Michael, Jessica, and David. We are delighted to have you with us today. The
So
estimated flight
we'll wait
time
until they have turned us for a little bit, and then we'll commence engine start. In the real Fort Myers, they don't let you start until you have pulled forward, I think, to somewhere about here or so. But it did look like GSX would support that, even with the profile over here. So I think we can go ahead and start the engines
We
now.
recommend keeping your seatbelt fastened.
Air flight, starting engines 1 and 2 in
As
sequence.
turbulence can occur
Gear 1, 2. Engine 1
in the
start.
event of a loss of cabin pressure. Oxygen mask will drop down from the panel above you. Pull the mask towards you to start the flow of oxygen. Place it over your nose and mouth. If you can breathe, let it stay. Remember to put on your life vest is located under your seat. Place it over your head. Place the vest this area is 8 to 2
Okay, push the complete, set brakes.
Please take a moment to locate the
Brake set.
exit nearest you.
And we have a good
Keep in
start in
mind
engine
that
number 1,
maybe
starting engine number 2.
in case of an emergency, follow
Clear 2.
the illuminated exit signs to reach the exit.
So, number 1 is avail, engine 2 start.
If you have any questions, please feel free to ask any of our crew members. Once we reach the altitude, we offer complimentary flight restoration. Thank you for your
So, that's looking pretty good. Okay, ground, we have 2 good engine starts. You clear to disconnect, show me the pin on the left. Please have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. And here we go. Alright, the pin is seen after start checklist. RTRs, off, ECAM status, check, pitch trim. That's like what, 25.5%. Radar trim, 0. After start checklist complete. We'll do the flight controls during taxi, yes, it's fairly easy over here. So let's go. I believe 7009, request taxi.
Air Berlin 7009, taxi to runway 24 via Golf, Golf 6 Lima, Foxtrot, Foxtrot 9er.
Berlin 7009, taxi to order point runway 24 via Golf, Golf 6 Lima, Foxtrot, Foxtrot 9er. Okay, so Golf, Golf 6, Lima, Foxtrot, and then all the way Foxtrot 9er. And I can tell you something, this is 100% the real world taxi route you would get over here. So, clear right side, clear left side, parking brake released. Normally it should taxi on idle thrust, you wouldn't need any power here to get moving. The simulated one does need some, however. Okay, brake check. Pressure 0. So straight out to the end and then a left-hand turn. Let's close the GSX window so that we don't have these annoying little arrows on the screen when we try to type something. So let's use a little bit more power to get moving, actually. Left side's clear, right side's clear. So we'll taxi via Lima, that's going to be the second to the left. So, flight control track. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Rudder. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Spawning of the taxi lights over here. Some LODs don't seem to be set completely correctly. Then again, I don't think the scenery is officially 2024 compatible, so I assume in 2020 it would actually work. So we're clear on the left side, and we're clear on the right side. Right turn over here into Foxtrot, and then Foxtrot 9 is the very end. And I have no changes to the takeoff briefing. So, transponder is set. Cabin ready, just about at the right moment. I love it. Taxi checklist. Flight controls, checked. Flap setting, on 2. Radar and predictive wind shear, on and auto. Engine start selector, norm. Memo, takeoff, no blue, taxi checklist complete. So in the US, SayIntentions wants us to contact tower without a handoff. Not realistic, in the real world you would get one, but that's something that I have already forwarded them. So 128.75. Then departure will be 124.125. Fort Myers Tower, Abilene 7009 Heavy, ready for departure.
Air Berlin 7009, Fort Myers Tower, runway 24, winds 205 at 13, RNAV Maple cleared for takeoff.
RNAV Maple, runway 24, clear takeoff, Abilene 705. 7009. Okay, so cabin crew, prepare for departure. Okay, runway 24, Fox 9 is confirmed. Lineup checklist. Takeoff runway 24, Fox 9 TCAS, TARA, Pax
Approaching 2-4.
off, lineup checklist complete. So we are cleared for takeoff. Just helping it a bit with the outer engine to get around that turn. Ready? Take off.
On runway 24.
Manflex 50, SRS, auto thrust blue. And come on, where's the click spot? Here it is. Thrust set. Knots, checked. Rotate. Positive climb. Gear up. Nav checked. One of the unfortunate bugs with the A330 is it doesn't need the pitch the real one needs. In the real world it's 15 degrees. The 11 that we have right now would be with an engine failure at pretty much max takeoff weight.
Air Berlin 7009, contact departure.
Over to departure, Abilene 7009. Thrust decline 1, climb auto thrust. Flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1. Fort Myers departure, good evening, Abilene 7009 Heavy, passing 1,600, climbing 4,000.
Air Berlin 7009, Fort Myers departure, radar contact, clear direct Maple.
Clear direct Maple, Abilene 7009. Well, that's where we're flying anyway. I'll keep the flaps extended past Snoke. Both packs on.
Air Berlin 7009, climb and maintain flight level 190.
Abilene 7009, climb and maintain, flight level 190. Set and 19,000. Okay, flaps 0. Speed checked. Flaps 0. Just gotta love it, huh? Just looks so great. And imagining that this is a default aircraft is just still an amazing thought. And to put the icing on the cake, it flies just as horrible as the real A330. No, really, I mean, the plane doesn't climb very well. It's laggy in the controls. Builds actually managed to capture that quite well. Alright, we don't need that chrono anymore since we've got our lap timer running down here. So approaching some of those clouds. I'll keep manually flying it for a little bit here, just because it's fun. But we'll be going on autopilot before we enter anything that might look turbulent. Some of the first showers are clearly visible in front already. Do we have anything on the radar?
Air Berlin 7009. Climb and maintain flight level 220.
Berlin 7009, climb and maintain flight level 220. 22,000 blue. Autopilot 1. One of the things that I'd like to see improved with SayIntentions is that they give you more handoffs during the departure. You can see departure has first cleared us to 19,000, which is rather high. I would love something intermediate there, just for the top of the departure airspace, and then he just keeps clearing you higher until you eventually fly over the boundary into another FIR. Obviously that wouldn't work like that in the real world. There would be several frequency changes in the climb, and I do hope that we will eventually see that updated in SayIntentions as well, because other than that, I have to say this was quite an immersive departure, and it felt quite good. Certainly the best in terms of, I don't just want to say AI ATC, but I want to see the best ATC add-on that I've seen so far. So, now comes the big question, will we just keep it on the derated climb, or are we going to go full climb? But I think we're not going to get above this quickly anyway, so yeah. But what we can do is just to call the cabin crew, because they will definitely be sitting for a little bit longer here. Hi Mara, are you here? Why are we reverting? You stay on
Yes,
path,
Captain,
please.
I'm here and ready for the flight.
Thank you. I will keep the seatbelt sign on a little bit longer as we're expecting some turbulence. Please stay seated as well. So, direct to you, please.
Understood, Captain. I will inform the crew to remain seated as well.
Thanks. Alright, passing 10,000. Seatbelt signs stay on for the time being. Lights stay on as well since we're in the States. We can go over the airports over here, and then we can clean up the FMS.
Dear guests, we are now at a safe altitude, and you are welcome to use your electronic devices. Please ensure that they are set to airplane mode. After our meal service, we will be offering items from the Air Berlin shop. Thank you for your
So, 370, 363, and 387 looks very good. So 370 it is. I like it. So then, time to sit back a little bit, get those footrests down, and then I see you all when things are either getting interesting, or when we're starting our approach.
Air Berlin 7009, climb and maintain flight level 280.
Berlin 7009, climb and maintain flight level 280.
Berlin 7009er. Expect a Pisa 1 Alpha arrival. Descent in about 15 minutes. Notify if you're ready to descend before that.
Pisa 1 Alpha arrival, expect descent in 15, Berlin 7009er. Alright guys, you've heard it. Pisa 1 Alpha arrival into Düsseldorf, which is a little bit non-standard for that particular airport. However, I do believe that's because they just mostly do those stars here and are probably not able to do transitions yet in SayIntentions. So that's definitely something that I will suggest to them for a future update. In the meantime though, let's go ahead and prepare the arrival as requested by air traffic control. So we'll start by getting out our charts, and then we'll also get our arrival weather over here. So that's going to be for Düsseldorf, Echo Delta Delta Lima. Let's start with the weather, and they offer variable winds, Carbop 14 degrees, QNH 1013.
Altimeter setting.
So I think we can probably still expect runway 05 right, but let's go ahead and find out. So approaches 05 right ILS chart. Let's just bring that one up so that we get the ATIS frequency 123780. Still out of range, I guess. That's fine. We'll just prepare the ILS 05 right. If we get something else, we might just have to redo it. So, ILS 5 right, and all the stars fit onto a single chart. I like that. And then we need the ground chart, and we need the parking chart. So the star is fairly easy. Pisa, direct Düsseldorf. So arrival ILS 05 right and Pisa 1 Alpha, no transition and insert. So Pisa 15 meters Düsseldorf, above level 60, both of them. Yep, that's all correct, and then radar vectors over here. But we have Düsseldorf, Centerfix, Natos. Yeah, that's fine. We'll get radar vectors anyway. So let's have a look at the approach chart. And here we are. So starting at Natos in 3000, 3-degree glide. So 3000 is in here, 3-degree glide. At 40 ME we check 1460, we have that. Then down to the runway. Missed approach straight at to 60 meters Düsseldorf, left turn 320 until radial 012 from Düsseldorf. And that's a maximum of 230 knots, and then left back to the station, climbing 4000. That looks all good. So nothing on the radios here. Düsseldorf 05 right. Now for the performance, 0.79, 285 looks okay. QNH is 1013. The wind was basically calm. And the temperature, let's check that again, is 14. Oh, pretty warm for this time of the day. I like it. It means it's going to be a warm day. AKA, after a good night's sleep, when we get up in the afternoon, it's going to be beautiful. Okay, so minimum is 330, config 3 approach, and MSA in case of missed approach 2900. Extra fuel, says 0 down here, so what we can do, we'll commit to Düsseldorf since the weather is beautiful. Doesn't let me delete the alternate here. Can we make it 0.1? Yeah, we can. And slash 45 minutes. Alright, so that means we've got 8 minutes extra, plus 15 minutes of margin, where the aircraft is going to alert us. And that looks beautiful. Auto brakes low. And that's all we need. So then, once you're ready, let's go for the approach briefing. I don't have a landing performance calculator, unfortunately, but that's fine. Alright, cool. So, PSAP 1 Alpha arrival, MSA is 2,400 in the approach sector, 2,900 in the missed approach sector. And we'll do the ILS approach, 05 right, radar vector to minimum 330 in case of go-around, straight at 60 meters Düsseldorf, left turn on the heading, initially 230 knots and climbing 4,000 feet. Extra fuel and time, as we've just discussed, 8 minutes. Alright, thanks for that. Flight director guided ILS approach, conflict free landing with auto brake, low, idle, reverse. Vacate runway to the right hand side, no hotspots for our taxi in, and I have no specials and nothing non-standard. Anything from your side, Rex? None? Very good, I like it. Just a quick check here, train display, still inoperative. Of course, there are a couple of hills in the area, but in that case, we've got good weather, we are just going to look outside. Any questions? Anything to add? No? Alright, wonderful. Hi Mara, are you here? I have a feeling, mate.
Yes, Captain, I'm here and ready for the flight.
Thanks, we'll start our descent in 10 minutes. Arrival will be on time.
Thank you, Captain. I will keep the passengers informed.
I have a feeling the click spot that I assigned in SayIntentions for my cabin crew for some reason puts the aircraft in a heading mode. But that's okay. We can always go back to nav like that. Alright, cool. So, is she gonna do a PA now? Or are we going to do ours first? I think we'll do ours. Liebe Fluggäste, einen schönen guten Morgen aus dem Cockpit. Hier spricht Ihr Kapitän. In den nächsten 10 Minuten werden wir unseren Siegflug in Richtung Düsseldorf beginnen. Verbleibende Flugzeit jetzt noch circa 35 bis 40 Minuten. Das Wetter in Düsseldorf wunderschön, klarer Himmel, die Temperatur jetzt schon 14 Grad. Wir hoffen, dass Sie unseren Flug mit uns genossen haben und wünschen Ihnen einen schönen Aufenthalt. Gegebenenfalls eine gute und sichere Weiterreise und würden uns freuen, Sie bald wieder an Bord eines unserer Flugzeuge begrüßen zu dürfen. Vielen Dank für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit und wir wünschen Ihnen eine gute und sichere Weiterreise. Ladies and gentlemen, very good morning from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. In the next 10 minutes we're going to start our descent to Düsseldorf, remaining flight time about 35 to 40 minutes. The weather in Düsseldorf currently very nice, temperatures of around 14 degrees, clear skies. Thank you very much for choosing Air Berlin for today's flight. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, and we look forward to welcome you again on board of the future service. Thank you very much for your attention. Alright, so that's our passengers, that's everything dealt with. Then it's up to ATC to get us our descent instructions.
Air Berlin 7009, roger. Continue descent to flight level 70.
Continue descent to flight level 70 and 7009. Well, and with that we are closing in on Düsseldorf. We are joining the PSAP 1 Alpha arrival, a little bit non-standard for this airport. Normally they use transition, but my guess is at the moment we do simply not support transitions at in SayIntentions just yet, but it's something that I have definitely risen with the developers.
Air Berlin 7009, descend, altitude 4000, QNH 1013.
Descend altitude 4000, QNH 1013, Air Berlin 7009. Okay. Alt 6000 Magentas at QNH 1013.
Air Berlin 7009, contact Langen radar on 121.355.
121.355, Air Berlin 7009. that's the departure frequency they normally use, but they should be on here, of course. And you should be on 1215 then. Langrada, hello, Evelyn 7009er, passing 1400, descending 4000.
Air Berlin 7009er, Langenradar identified. Good morning.
Okay, so we just got interrupted there, so I guess we'll have to teach SayIntentions to start using transitions at an airport where needed. For example, Düsseldorf or Munich would mostly be using those transitions rather than stars. On the other hand side, this means we can see how it'll do radar vectors to final, so that's also something interesting to see here. Alright then, we're approaching 10,000, so lights on, signs are on already, our EFIS to constraints and LS. And then for the FMS we've got GPS primary with a high accuracy, Düsseldorf 05 right is selected, and the engine start selector is in norm. Alrighty! So then let's get back into a proper seating position here from our long haul sit back relax position. Now I'm interested to see what kind of radar vectors they are going to give us. I suppose we're just going to ask for them right now. Berlin 7009, request vectors to final.
Air Berlin 7009er, turn left, heading 090 vectors for the ILS runway 23 left approach.
Turn left, heading 090 vectors ILS 23 left, Air Berlin 7009.
On our final approach to DH-1460.
Okay, change of runway.
Turn off your electronic devices and stow them into the environment.
Let's make it quick.
Kindly put your tray tables away. Ensure your seats are in their full upright position and fasten your seatbelt. Our Air Berlin staff on the ground will provide you with information regarding your connecting flight. Thank you for your cooperation.
So heading 090. Just not going to use the speed brake just yet. But nonetheless, we better gotta start setting up. So
7009er, contact to Düsseldorf, approach on 128.655.
128.655, heavily in 7009er. Radar, Berlin 7009er, passing 7,800, descending 4,000.
Air Berlin 7009er, Düsseldorf approach identified. Good morning, expect the ILS runway 23 left approach into Düsseldorf.
Expect ILS 23 left, Air Berlin 7009er.
Air Berlin 7009er, Düsseldorf approach 11 miles from Metma. Turn right heading 160, descent altitude 3000 until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS runway 23 left approach.
Turn right heading 160, descent 3000, cleared ILS 23 left, Air Berlin 7009er. Okay, so now we definitely need the speed brake. So, very quick cross check, Metma above 3000, then we have 5.4 miles at 1850, that's incorrect in here, but it doesn't matter, it does read correctly in there, happy with that. And the missed approach straight at 2.6, right turn 307 until radial 277 and right back to the station climbing 4000. And the rest is looking good. Alright, that's all we need. 1,000 to go. Or 2,000 to go, to be honest. Okay, cool. So rebriefing, ILS 23 left, flaps full this time, flight director guided, still idle reverse, auto brakes low, vacate to the left, and that's it. The rest is unchanged. Any questions? No? Wonderful. I like it. So that's our briefing complete. Then let's go ahead and just check that ILS frequency, because that seems incorrect down there. 1000 to go. So it should be 109.9. Here we go, and the inland course 230. Alright, that's all correct now. So I'll cheat a little bit. Let's go direct mine here, so that the airplane starts to establish itself on the final. Activating confirm approach phase, and speed brake out, so that we start reducing. Speed hold star nav.
Air Berlin 7009er, contact Düsseldorf Tower on 118.305.
118.305, Berlin 7009. Düsseldorf Tower, I believe 7009er, established ILS 23 left. So, Lockstar, is it gonna descend?
Air Berlin 7009er, Düsseldorf Tower, runway 23 left, continue approach.
23 left, continue approach, I believe 7009er. And gear down, it's an A330. If you get above the glide on final at 200 knots, you need that gear. So let's set this down to like vertical speed 1500, just to capture the glide. We'll set the altitude to 1000 above field elevation, and flaps 2. Speed checked, flaps 2, and approach checklist. Yeah, you can see this is getting busy right now. So altimeters. QNH 1013, seatbelts on minimum, baro 340, auto brake, low, engine start select on norm, approach checklist complete. Last loop star. We're on altitude 4000 set. Flaps 3. Speed check, flap 3. And flaps full. Speed check, flaps full.
1000.
Yeah, not yet. Field elevation is 1150. Tiny bit below the glide. Let's get back into that approach criteria here. Landing checklist, ECAM memo, landing no blue, landing checklist complete. And now we're at real 1000. And we are actually within the stable approach criteria. Even though this was an interesting one. That last minute runway change was definitely a case where it needs 2 pilots. Let's just call it that way.
Approaching 23 left.
But here we go, everything done. Nicely established. Cabin should be ready any moment. Let's just press the call button and they will be ready. Yep. So, looks like the AI is doing strange things again, going for the opposite runway.
400.
Hello there.
300. 100 above.
Checked.
200.
Last loop is checked, corrected.
Minimum.
Continue.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
So, orders. Reverse green.
1,500
Diesel.
meters remaining.
70 knots.
1,200 remaining. 900 remaining.
Air Berlin 7009er, welcome to Düsseldorf. Contact ground on 121.605.
121.605, Air Berlin 7009er.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have just landed at DWA 146 Airport.
Düsseldorf ground, hello, Air Berlin 7009er, runway vacated, request taxi to gate Charlie 4.
It's 9:18 a.m. Currently, the weather is quite pleasant with a temperature of 15 degrees Celsius, clear skies, and no precipitation. Thank you for flying with Air Berlin today. Please remain seated until we reach our final parking position. On behalf of Captain Emmanuel, First Officer Teal, and the entire crew, we wish you a wonderful day ahead.
So, Düsseldorf ground, hello, Air Berlin 7009er, request taxi to gate Charlie 4.
Air Berlin 7009er, negative, taxi to runway 23 left via Golf 6 Lima, Foxtrot 9er.
No. Air Berlin 7009er, request taxi to gate Charlie 4. We don't want to go to the runway, my friend.
Air Berlin 7009er, taxi to gate Charlie 4 via Lima 6, Mike Papa 4, good day.
Taxi to gate Charlie 4 via Lima 6, Mike Papa 4, Air Berlin 7009er. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. So we proceed off to the right hand side here. So Lima 6 is where we're on right now, Mike is the next one to the right, and then Papa 4 is the first to the left. And then our gate will be Charlie 4. That's more like it. So Charlie 4, and we don't need to follow me. Handling by Düsseldorf Airport. So in the meantime, I just looked into the log from SayIntentions, and for some reason, when I said that I wanted taxi to gate Charlie 4 on the very first attempt, it understood that we wanted to taxi via Charlie 4 for departure. Because, yeah, why not? So, as they always say in the log of ChatGPT, AI isn't perfect, and if it understands something strange from you, then it might just ask you to do something strange as well, as has just happened. Alright, after landing checklist, radar and predictive wind shear off, after landing checklist complete. So Charlie 4 should be to the right of the Sun Express. Perhaps getting a little fast here. Okay, lights off. And here it is, Charlie 4. So of course that vehicle over there did not stop. What did I expect, really? A332 is on the guidance. And... oh, come on, you've been trolling. So, brake set, APU bleed. Let's wait until it's written over here. Here we go, APU bleed, shutdown 1, shutdown 2, cabin crew, hold awesome park. Interestingly enough, it did use a little bit too much fuel, but we'll get to that in a moment. In the meantime, parking checklist please. Parking brake on trucks. Brake set, engines off, and fuel pumps off. Parking checklist complete. And with that, welcome to Düsseldorf. Now, transponder 2000 and standby. Let's have a look at the fuel now. 52.6, and we should have used a bit less, quite a bit less. And I honestly have no idea why we used so much fuel, because we flew pretty much exactly per the flight plan. And we did the step climb like 5 minutes later. Apart from that, everything was according to the plan, so my only explanation here is that the aircraft used a lot more fuel than SimBrief calculated, even though we had used the original SimBrief profile from AnyBuilds, and you can see up here, performance 103% is already in there, so that was the original profile. It didn't perform that well. In any case, we made it just above final reserves, so it was a legal flight. Of course, a go-around would have been, let's just call it, a lot of paperwork, but we didn't, so that's okay. Nonetheless, this is something where I would absolutely write a report about, because, well, our aircraft has used quite a bit more fuel than it should have, and that's of course something that is unacceptable. Imagine it to use even more, and then, you know, maybe you have to fly the entire arrival, because I think if we had gone for runway 05, we'd probably have landed below final reserves. Well, my friends, anyway, that's all I can offer you today. I do hope you enjoyed this one. Be sure to leave your comments and let me know how you liked our approach, let me know how you liked SayIntentions. In general, let me know your feedback, as that's what keeps the channel getting better and better. Thank you very much for watching. As always, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. And if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.